Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the books that I read in the month of October. So October actually isn't over yet. Today is only the 30th. Tomorrow is Halloween, but I know I probably won't finish the book that I'm currently in, and I'm probably going to run out of time this week because things are busy. So I figured if I've got a little bit of time today, it's Sunday, I might as well get my wrap up filmed and put together. So let's take a look at what I read this month. It was an okay month. I think the month started off a little slow, and I did have one 5-star book in this grouping as I look at my list here, but it wasn't horrible. I stuck with my goal of kind of focusing on thrillers for the month, and yeah, that's pretty normal for me. I don't do a lot of other things, especially in this time of year, but I'm thinking I probably should have used some palette cleansers in there. But hey, I tried it. And sometimes it just could be the mood that I'm in, depending on what rating I've given these. So let's take a look. The very first book was actually our October book club pick for my in-person book club, and that was The Chain by Adrienne McKinty. This was pretty good, and I think I might have had a better connection with this one if I would have been a parent, but I gave it a 4-star. Basically, the premise of this book is this woman's daughter gets kidnapped, and the kidnappers tell her, you do not get to get your daughter back until you've kidnapped someone else. And that's the whole point of the chain, is it keeps going, and there's money involved. There's, a person that's, working behind an app that takes care of it. And in order to get your child back, you have to kidnap another child and continue the chain. I liked the premise, but the book felt like it was a little disjointed for me. There was the first part, and then there was a second part that you kind of got some glimpses in the past, and I wish they would have been a little bit more mixed throughout the whole book, rather than feeling a little bit like two separate novels. Like I said, I gave it a 4. I liked both parts, and I actually really enjoyed the ending. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it, where I know some of the people in my book club did not like it. So, but it just did. It felt a little disjointed, and hence the fact that I would give it a 4. So, it was my first book. The next one I actually picked up on my Kindle. I was trying to keep up on my Kindle reading, and I just totally lost out this month. But that was The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon. This one was really different and interesting because the whole premise is these people live at an old motel, and there is this tower, and the whole premise of this book is this tower being haunted, and you're getting 2 different timelines, past and present, and the different things that are going on at this motel with these 2 sisters, and then a good friend of theirs, a boy, and another girl. So gosh, I am totally not giving the best description. I'll make sure I link it below, but it was definitely creepy. And there were moments that I was like, what is going on? And yeah, some of the things that they discovered just, So, and it was one of those where you didn't know who was responsible. So I'll just leave it at that. That one I gave a 4. I liked it. Sometimes I wonder, would I feel more connected if I did or didn't do the audiobook? That one I know I read on my Kindle. So yeah, it was 4. It was not bad. It was definitely one that I would suggest to other people, but I'm not in awe of it either. So that's kind of how my readings always work. The next book I picked up was audio only because I do not believe the actual book or Kindle version of this one has been released yet, but they released the audio, and that was Killjoy by Simone St. James. And it was short. I want to say it was less than 3 hours long because it's supposed to be more of a novella. And this one just left me super confused. It was creepy. And now that I'm thinking back, I don't even remember some of the details about it. I gave it a 3, but I quite honestly, I can't think of much about what was going on in that book. All right, so that tells you something. Editing me will put in some notes right here because, yeah, I don't remember anything about this one. Which I mean, that happens, and I hopefully you can let me know below in the comments if things like that happen to you. I am notorious for reading or listening, I should say, to audio while I'm getting ready in the morning, and a lot of times it does stick with me. But if it's something short like this one and it just didn't have the details to hook me, yeah, I just don't remember. Oops, but that's okay. So I gave that one a 3. The next one I picked up on my Kindle because I had purchased this a long time ago, after I think I heard Heather at Bookables talk about it, among other people, I'm sure, and that was Kill Creek. And of course, I do not have the author written down, and since it was on my Kindle, I don't remember. Scott Thomas? I don't know. Anyway, super creepy book. I just felt like it was a little long. I gave it 3.5 stars. There are some really creepy moments. The house that is actually referred to as Kill Creek is... there were some creepy moments and you didn't know what was going on, and the horror element and like the violence that's in it was definitely like scary. But I just felt like it dragged out in other chapters, and so it took away from what was probably supposed to be such an impactful like horror novel. So 3.5. I wouldn't stop anybody from maybe trying it. I'd be curious, have any of you read Kill Creek, and do you feel the same way, or did you think it was a really good horror novel? And it is probably because I'm kind of like starting to get into horror, so let me know. Oh, but then the next one I picked up, this is where I just realized I missed one. I'll come back to it because I'm going to talk about the good one first. But I picked up Alice Feeney's Daisy Darker, and I loved it. I know this one has gotten mixed reviews, but I am on the side of I really loved it. This was my only 5-star read of the month so far, and I thought it was fantastic. I love an isolated thriller, and I did not see the twist coming at all. She had me guessing on who like the killer was. Basically, I think this is Agatha Christie's Then They Were None like retelling, and basically so every hour someone's gonna die, and yeah, I didn't know who it was. I didn't know what to expect. I kept guessing different people and I would be wrong. I really enjoyed this one, so I won't give too much away because I don't want to spoil any of it, but I am definitely in the camp of somebody that liked this one. All right, the book that I skipped in the order that I'm sharing was Killjoy, and this is by Holly Jackson. This is basically the prequel novella to her A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I have read. And this one I actually ended up having to get on eBay because I think it was only released in the UK or Europe on World Book Day, which was March 4th of 2021. And so basically this features a lot of the characters that are in that series. And they're playing like a murder mystery clue type game. And that leads into the whole reason that Pippa, who's our main character in the series, on why she chose to research what she did in the series. So it was okay. I don't think it was anything special. I mean, it was interesting to see, you know, how they got there. And there were some definitely creepy moments in there, but it was just a meh 3 read. And obviously it's a very quick book. It's pretty little. So that was a good 3 for me there. The one I picked up after Daisy Darker was another one that I had spun for in my book of the month focus video that I had done. Also Daisy Darker was too. I'm slowly getting through those books. And that, oh wait, no, this one wasn't in the spin one. Sorry everybody, this isn't my catch-up-a-thon. I picked, focusing, when you're trying to focus on book of the month books, just like I focused on my Nakele books this summer, I forget what I picked them all for. This was part of catch-up-a-thon, which I did not read as much for as I would have liked to, but I did finish 2 books. So, You're Invited by Amanda Jayatissa. I know I'm saying that wrong because I do believe the author is of like the same culture or descent from Sri Lanka. That is the main focus of this book. And this one I actually really liked too. We kind of went back and forth between the main character's perspective and an interview perspective. And then towards the end of the book, you're getting a bride's perspective, who is kind of the bride that's gone missing in the book. And all of it is kind of leading up to this wedding that is happening in Sri Lanka. And once again, it keeps you guessing on what's going on. The tagline here was, what could be worse than your ex-boyfriend marrying your childhood best friend? Getting accused of her murder. So I really liked it. It was kind of interesting to see. You get little pieces of like Sri Lankan culture, and I could picture a lot of the scenes because she was great at kind of at describing everything between the clothes and the hotel that they were at, all of that. It was really atmospheric, and I quite enjoyed this one, especially, I do believe this is either her debut or one of her beginning books. So I will definitely be picking other things up by this author. I gave this one a 4. Like I said, that's a really good rating for me, and I really enjoyed it. The other book that I have finished this month, and I listened to this one on audio because it came up on my Libby app. And when things come up, you kind of have to read them because that's just how it goes. And that was The Lake by Natasha Preston. This kind of had some buzzwords for me. It was about girls coming back to the summer camp that they attended where something had happened years before. You eventually find out right in the beginning. But they're now like counselors in training, or CITs. And summer camps are kind of buzzwords for me. I worked at a summer camp for a while when I lived in the Northwoods. And so I typically enjoy stories. Now this one kind of dragged. I mean, and part of it was unbelievable for me. Like, the main characters are 17, and sometimes I felt like they acted like they were younger than 17, and I was like, I don't know if a 17-year-old would really act like that. And then other times you're just screaming like, why isn't anybody contacting the authorities? It just like, ugh. So I gave this one a 3. The ending was like, what? Not gonna give anything away, but if you have read this one, let me know. Because I would love to chat about it. I am actually looking forward to my cousin and I getting together to talk about this one because I know we both read it. Because yeah, the ending was wow. But yeah, there were just parts in there that I was just like, what is going on? Like, nah. So, and it is YA, but I usually like YA, so you take that with a grain of salt. But I gave it a 3. I will be picking up more from her. I actually think, yeah, I do have another book down here by Natasha Preston, The Fear. So I'll still be picking up books by her. I think I do like her writing style. It was just some of the choices that the characters made that I just couldn't wrap my head around. But then the final book that I can't guarantee whether or not I will finish it in October is I'm reading The Marsh King's Daughter, and actually I'm listening to it because that was another one that came up on my Libby app that my hold came through. So I am only like 20% of the way in right now, so I can't guarantee I will finish it by the end of the day tomorrow, but you never know, I might have the rest of the day today to do some listening on that one. But I am so far enjoying it. So we'll see what happens. But those are all of the books that I read in October. It was a decent reading month. I'm looking forward to November and picking up some nonfiction and then maybe participating in Historathon. So I'll have a little bit more diversity in my reading. But I kind of copied Lindsay at Lindsay's Little Library and did the whole like try to scare the crap out of yourself in October, and well, it didn't really work, but I read some enjoyable books. So what did you pick up on in October? Anything that I should add to my list? Thank you for joining me today, and if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.